Everybody is peeking over the horizon, wondering, is there a downturn? Is there a recession? Is there a down year coming? What do we do? Sort of thing. You're asking yourself all of those questions. I recently joined Intapp in 2022. It's a global technology firm, and it partners with investors and advisors to help them run their businesses.
What's the difference between acquisition marketing and retention marketing and preparing budgets?
I think that law firms basically had two types of, buckets, if you will. They thought of it as awareness and credibility building or relationship building. It was one of the two. Are starting to break down their budgets into exactly what you said, acquisition marketing, which is how are we getting new clients, versus retention market, which is how are we keeping and growing the clients that we have, or the brand that we have, or the relationships that we have. And by doing that, they're also starting to do account-based marketing, and they're able to put their budgets together and say, we're going to spend 70 or 60 or 80% of our budget on our existing relationships, because we know that it costs 6 to 8 more times money, resources, people, budgets to get a new client than it does to keep and grow an existing one. So when you look at the scale of acquisition versus retention is going to get that bigger budget. Mm-hmm. And then the acquisition is going to have a smaller wallet share of the overall budget.
It's pretty prevalent now where we'll see many law firms just have entire kind of blogs and podcasts and a whole kind of vertical of area dedicated to life balance, people's career paths and things like that, which is a bit different than what we've seen before. I think it provides a good opportunity for law firms to tease out their competitive differences just by letting people know who they are.
All law firms do the same thing, right? For the most part, a general practice firm does the same thing as the next general practice. An IP boutique does the same thing as the next IP boutique. How you do it, who you do it with, and the culture is what your differentiator is. And you're right, as I'm thinking a little bit about the sorts of information that I'm seeing, either the types of information, right? Or the personality in which people are writing, it really is giving giving firms a way to showcase their culture and who they are and their differentiator, as opposed to all sounding like really smart law firms.
Do you have a few tips to share with our readers and or listeners today concerning law firm budgets?
I think taking a panoramic view of where the firm is, what they're trying to accomplish, what some of their major goals are for the next year or two, look left and look right at what other operating department budgets are going to be impacted by that, and prepare your budget within the context of what's happening. So don't ask for the greatest budget increase among every operations department every year.
Okay.
There becomes a fatigue where it's like, no, just give them the 2%. We're not going to listen to why they deserve more every year over year than every other department, and every increase should be more. That so far we've said use 2019 as your benchmark. Mm-hmm. Don't ask for the greatest budget increase among every operations department every year. Try to negotiate for 2 or 3 years in advance, at your firm, but also negotiate 2 or 3 years in advance with your partners or vendors, depending on what you call them.
What's different this year than in previous years in law firm marketing and business development departments?
Right when the pandemic started, all discretionary budget items were removed from law firms, whether it was in marketing and business development or not. So it was like, unless we're contractually obligated to pay something, we're taking it off the table. And so now firms are getting that opportunity to rebuild it. And, again, that approach and that budgeting exercise is a real opportunity for these firms to say, what haven't we been asking ourselves, or what haven't we done that we've wanted to?